All right. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We might have people trickling in a little bit after because there was a little email glitch, but it went out twice. So twice is better than nothing. Ariella, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi. Oh, it's so good to see you and everybody here. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. So,
Oh, well, I mean, this is ecomConnect is like a nice big family, so you can totally relax with us. It's going to be nice and casual, and I'm really excited for us to dive into your beautiful story. But before we start, I'm just going to take a moment to share with everybody who you are and what we'll be talking about today. So I met Ariella actually through, and this is the beauty of networking and meeting people on the business journey. I was in another community with other entrepreneurs, and I met Scholastic, who we also interviewed here a couple of months ago. And through Scholastic, I met Ariella and just loved her story. So Ariella is a Hawaii native and award-winning stylist and creative director who has built her career on the foundation of faith, resilience, and fearlessness, which is exactly what we'll be talking about today. She's been internationally published in Harper's, Bazaar, Rolling Stones, Haze Magazine, Purple Haze Magazine, and Modern Luxury. From her humble beginnings as a teen mother, she has managed to achieve the impossible, proving that with faith, compassion, and a strong will, anything is possible. Ariella is also the proud mother of two and an industry maven who continues to lead on faith and inspire those who dare to dream. So, I mean, this is really what caught my attention around your story, Ariella. And I just loved how really like everything that you've created came from a whole lot of fearlessness, a whole lot of risks, a whole lot of leap and faith, as we've seen it as kind of the driving force behind everything you do. So before we go into that, tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing now and how you got started doing this work.
so the work that I am doing now, I'm actually taking a lot of time to reflect and find myself again currently. I just moved to California about 3 weeks ago, so it's all new to me from New Jersey. So I'm taking time to adjust and really refocus myself in my evolving purpose and what my next steps are going to be, So I still have my clients that I'm assisting to creative direct, as well as my styling, but also taking time to see what's going to be next for Ariella Faith. My right now too, I'm moving here. I'm getting ready for my daughter becoming a freshman and my
Oh, wow.
son starting middle school. So that's really
Okay.
been my current, you
Yeah.
know, stress and excitement for that. And so once they start school this week, well, actually, so my son starts tomorrow and my daughter starts on Monday. So once I can get them situated, I can breathe a little bit more in
Yeah.
what that's going to look like.
Yeah. Mom duties definitely take the priority, right? Which is a reality for so many entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so the work that you have been doing and that you're doing now, can you tell us a little bit more just about like the creative directing and the styling so people can understand a little bit about your current business and your current work?
Yeah, so creative direction, like right now, I have a client that we're just assisting him in his collection, his upcoming collection, and really just directing him in those steps because, everybody needs help. So
Yeah.
that's where I step in creatively and I assist on taking his vision and making it a reality, you
Mm.
know. Same thing with styling. You know, everybody gets confused with styling and design. Design is actually making the garments, and styling is taking those garments and really using that person as your canvas. So each have its own outlet of creativity, which I absolutely love, because I love taking something into making it the unimaginable, you know, or just making somebody feel good, you know, whether it's assisting my client in their creative direction or someone that I'm styling and they just feel like the most amazing person as they should be, is really humbling and
Yeah.
something I love to do.
So, I mean, I'm not even surprised at the people that you've met along your journey and the people you've worked with, because you have such like a beautiful charisma and like so much love flooding out of you all the time. And it's so magnetic. And it's what really like kind of pulled me towards you as well. And you've had some pretty successful people in your orbit through your work. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I want to then kind of reverse engineer this story and get into the details of like how you got there. Because I think that, you know, a lot of us want to reach these big milestones in our business, whether it's like financial or being connected with the right people, getting into the right circles in the right industry. And I really love, you know, the steps that you took that brought you to this. So like, tell us a little bit about some of the people you've had the honor of working with.
Oh, no, thank you so much. And it's so crazy. It's funny that you say that, because as you were reading my bio and doing the introduction of me, it's kind of like, oh, wow, did I really do all of that? You know, like
Right.
it's just so humbling and exciting to hear it from somebody else than actually realizing all that you have accomplished. Because I
Yeah.
feel like as entrepreneurs, we're always trying to build and grow to what's next and where else do I have to be? What else do I have to accomplish? That we always forget what we have already accomplished and how,
Mm,
you know, grateful and proud we should be of ourselves. But in taking those steps, I'm grateful for the people I've met and the circle I have, because a lot of those opportunities came from the support of others. So
right.
so grateful for them, you know, and being able to always do it as a team. So it's
Yeah.
always a team effort as well in everything I've done. So in naming some of the projects, so I have to say I love music videos. That was incredible. So a lot of the you know, artists you've named were through music videos. To name a few, I have to say my favorite was Lil Uzi Vert. He just had
Okay.
more of a creative direction in his music videos. That was always so much more like much fun to do.
Yeah.
Um, and so some of the magazines that I've been published internationally, that's definitely more of a fashion styling approach. So that I've done, and actually I were submissions for as well. So never be afraid to like really, you know, take your work and put it out there, because you never know who's gonna be inspired by it or even give you that shot to be like, hey, I love your work. I'm going to
Yeah.
put it in this piece, you know. So, and it's all a part of that networking as
Yeah.
well. This community is beautiful for that. And I'm so excited to connect with each of you.
Yeah. So I love that you said that, because I think that sometimes we really underestimate who's watching what we're doing.
Mhm.
I've had this experience over and over again, also in my business, receiving messages from people saying, "Oh my God, I just read your thing. I just listened to this, whatever. And it's made such a big impact in my life. And because of that, I've done X, Y, Z." And so we don't know who's watching and listening. And so it is really important to take these leaps in putting our work out there into the world. Which
Yeah.
brings me to kind of the beginning of your journey, which I find is so incredible. So this is kind of what you did when you got started, right? Is like really just putting yourself out there. And at the start of your journey, you met like a really key person who's still in your life. So can you tell us a little bit about that story and how
Yeah.
it has impacted where you are today?
Oh my goodness. So that is a story I will always hold dear to my heart because it's really where everything began. I just had my son. I was actually doing the math. I always said 19, but I was really 18 years old. And I just realized like I don't want to settle. I have these two beautiful children that are looking up to me, and I don't want to settle. Because, as parents, you want the best for your children. So my parents were always like, no, you have to be on this career path. This is where you have to go. We all know that
Yeah.
that parent. And I was just like, why? I was actually in school to compromise. I went to school for business. So I was like, well, if I can't do fashion, then I'm going to do this. Because then if I finally get that confidence and bravery to be like, nope, mom or dad, I'm going to do this, then I could take that degree elsewhere. But really having them and in the situation I was at that time for my mental state and my where I wanted to be and as a parent and show my kids that anything is possible, no matter what your circumstances. I really took that leap of faith and went out there. There was an event in Washington, D.C., where I lived at the time for a fashion show, and I went. I wore my little Goodwill outfit, very much thrifted from head to toe, and took myself to this event, scared and all, and just really try to make connections and make new friends and build relationships. And during that fashion show, a designer that I met, she was like, you need to meet Maggie Francois. She is, the producer of the event. I feel like you guys would be great together. And I waited till the end of this event, shaking, nervous, like I don't know
Right.
anyone, and so until the end of the event, she came out and I just approached her and I said, hi, my name is Ariella. I would love to connect further. And really just as I'm like shaking, and yeah. And then she said, meet me at my office at this day and time. And that was it. So we were both, I was telling her my story, and we were both just crying at the end of it all. And we've been together since. So
There's so many things I love about that story because, first of all, everywhere in the world, there is influential people. Everywhere in the world, there are leaders and people doing incredible things that we can connect with, right? So this is really a story of inspiration that can be like relevant to anybody, like anywhere in any country, anywhere in the world, these kinds of people are there. And it's really just about finding the courage to put yourself in front of them or get close to them or go to an event that maybe feels like is not your place just yet because you're not there yet or you're not successful yet, and doing it anyways. And the other part of the story that I love is that sometimes we stop ourselves from, introducing ourselves to somebody or going to an event or going to something where there's these like big influential people because we feel that we're less than or lower than somehow than
yeah,
these people who are already successful. And what I love about this story is that like she was, even if you were still just starting, she was just as grateful and excited to meet you as you were to meet her.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to not underestimate the impact that we can have on people, no matter where we are at in our journey.
Exactly. And you saying that too, because as I grew in the industry, there have been so many times where I did feel less than or not enough or I'm not
Yeah.
there yet. And now that I look back at those opportunities and those blessings that I had and I didn't take full advantage of it for that reason, I'm like, man, I really wish I didn't think that at all, because there was times I had all the courage in the world, and that was that story I just told you with Maggie. I
Right.
I just kept my kids and my husband in mind, and I was like, no, I'm doing this, for
Mm.
us, and taking those steps. But there was also like my first time going to New York Fashion Week. I got all these invites, and it was the most amazing experience ever. And was so excited and so grateful to walk into these rooms. But then some of them I'd go to an event. There's this one event, it was actually when Orange is the New Black just came out. And I
Okay. Yeah.
was at the same exact fashion event as them, mingling,
Oh my
talking.
goodness.
That was the one event I felt that I was not enough, like, and
Right.
then now that I think back at it, I'm like, why did I feel that way? Like I was in the
Mm.
same exact room, I received the same exact invitation. Why did
Right.
I feel that way? You
Oh, that's
know?
such a
So
good, yes, that's such a good reminder. It's like this imposter syndrome that we all experience.
yes.
Yeah, I
So
love it.
never feel that way, because that could have been an opportunity for you to, really put yourself out there. And then if you feel you're not enough, it can really block you from some of your blessings. So, but they're also
Mm.
really great learning experiences as well, because now I'm like, I'm
Right.
never going to do that again. you
Right.
know?
Right. And that's why it's so important to like step out of our comfort zone and go through things where we might not feel like we fit in there yet, or we're not good enough yet, or not successful enough yet, because there's so much opportunity for learning in those situations. And I love what you said also about how your driving force was your kids and your husband, and I think oftentimes we forget to tap into like the why of why we're doing what we're doing, or like why we want to reach our goals. And so I think it would be really important for all of us to really think about like, what is the driving force behind what is going to give me fuel to take this scary leap,
Mhm.
and like having something. I know for me often it's I don't have kids, I have dogs, so sometimes it's my dogs, but very often it's my nephews. And I think when I think about settling for comfort, or like really taking a leap and thinking about the stories I can tell them after of what I was able to achieve because of some chances that I took, it gives me that fuel, that motivation to be like, you know what, let me do this for them and show them what's possible for them also in their life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Because like you said too, you never know who's watching. It could be your children, it could be your niece or nephew, it can be your cousin, it could be
Right.
anybody. Even as you said with Maggie, we both entered each other's life at the perfect timing, no matter what position she was at in her career and where I was,
Yeah.
there there's always a reason and timing of why you meet people. So
Mm,
in any stage of your life,
yeah.
so, and I feel like a lot of that is where I don't know, that's why I feel like, so I know you mentioned that I love to give a lot of love, and that's just how I am as a human being, because I just feel
Yeah.
like I we all struggle with love sometimes and receiving it. So I
Yeah.
just want to be that person in the world that always wants to like give and love everybody. So
Yeah. I
I'm
also
like,
think that coming from that place of like abundance in and what you have to offer has an impact on your energy when you do show up at these kinds of events and opportunities in front of people.
mhm,
So, um, which brings me to what we spoke about also on our pre-chat around opportunities. And you spoke about how like even though you were an entrepreneur and you were starting this entrepreneurial journey, sorry guys, I hope that wasn't making noise. Um, that you still applied for jobs, you still put yourself forward in certain opportunities. And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we have this idea that if we're an entrepreneur, we have to be only an entrepreneur, and our business needs to work right away. And if it doesn't, we're not successful. And we have all these rules around how we should move forward in our business journey. And you kind of gave yourself the freedom to do a little bit of everything. So can you tell us a little bit about like kind of your vision on, opportunities and how you had jobs at the same time and what that did for you on your path?
So, honestly, it took a lot of time management for me and skill because, you have, everybody has bills to pay. So I had to do the necessary steps that I had to take to provide for my family. I'm so grateful I have such a supportive, an amazing husband that has been with me throughout all these years, but also it's a team effort, and 2 kids, they're expensive. I
Right.
was telling them this yesterday. I took them school shopping. I'm like, you guys are too expensive. I'm maxed out. So, but with that, I just learned to really utilize my time management to be, the best wife, the best mom, but also the best version of myself, whether that was, I have to take a side job to provide for my family, but also help fund my goals and my dreams. And and that takes a lot of balance, it's like, especially as women, you're like, you want to be like superwoman, you want to
Right.
take on and do everything and like prove yourself to everybody. And it's one of those things I struggle with to like just learn to balance everything as well with boundaries. But it's funny because some of the things I was just telling my daughter this, it's crazy because in starting off, around the same time, I did go to my first event and had my son. I actually worked at Walmart. I worked at the Marine Corps Exchange. I did Picture Me,
Wow.
and Picture Me was that was actually fun because I had some sort of creativity taking these photos that
Right.
led me into getting into photography. So the crazy thing is I actually ended up doing photography gigs at first to help fund, not only to take care of help provide for my family, but also, use that to start my portfolio. So I actually styled the models and took their photos to build my
Wow.
portfolio to begin with. So, you just gotta figure out ways that's going to best suit you and the steps you want to take in even growing and building your portfolio to start with. So
Yeah. And that's beautiful because I think it's important to remember that there's like no shame at all and having jobs on the side and like these kinds of opportunities, especially if you choose them strategically like you did, it gives you a chance to start. There's so many stories like this of, you know, people who wanted to get into a certain industry and they started as like, the coffee boy or the person bringing in the mail, like just to get in and start to be in the energy of that place that you see yourself in, and the future. So you get to learn. And also the thing is you get to meet people in those kinds of jobs and opportunities, right?
exactly. And,
Yeah.
don't be afraid, utilize the resources you have. Because at that time, my resources were very slim, but I had to be creative as well within myself and my position to really still try to see the beauty of everything. Because even at some point, my daughter was going to Head Start. I was literally on welfare, had everything Medicaid, food stamps, and I would volunteer at her school. And they knew they would always be like, you always dress so nice. You should see our, wardrobe closet. They had a whole wardrobe closet in this
Oh,
school for the families. And I would actually volunteer my days and organize the entire wardrobe closet where these families could go in and pick free items for their own personal wardrobe. So that was fun for me to tap into the personal styling side, but also give back at the same time. And also, I could use that into my portfolio as well. Like that was a
Right.
sense of personal styling and closet editing, I should say,
Mm,
which were things that I even took eventually and did as a side job within my styling. So
right.
then, and thinking about that, that was such a gratifying I honestly want to go back and do things like that because just
Right.
it felt so good to do so much good, So yes, I will never forget that. My daughter was 3, she was going to Head Start and
Wow.
organizing this closet for clothes, donated clothes to be given for free.
That's amazing. And I feel like sometimes we forget, especially as like e-commerce entrepreneurs or now online entrepreneurs, which most of us are anyways because of COVID, we forget to get away from our computers and go beyond our screens and out into the world, because that's where the real magic is essentially. Sorry, there's still people coming in here. That's where the real magic is, and the real opportunities and the real human beings you can meet, because there's just not, we can do a lot through our screens, which is like incredible, and we have the opportunity to sell through our screens, but there's still magic in going out there and meeting real people in real life and experiencing um, opportunities that we could not get through our screens and through selling online.
Mhm. Or even just reaching out too and like making that difference beyond our screens. So,
Yeah,
and even those milestones in my life and those give backs and everything I put, time and effort to have led to the bigger things now, you
right.
know. And honestly, speaking about work, I took 4 years away from the industry. Is when my husband joined the Coast Guard and
Mhm.
I, took some time away from the fashion industry and utilized my skills at a local winery, which was beautiful. And I directed their events. I honestly built their boutique there and started that, did their website, administration. So there's so much you can do from learning at other
Yeah,
places as well that I now learned there and also now utilize within my own business,
yeah.
and just like taking those leaps to learn more as well.
Yeah, we tend to, again, like coming back to our comfort zone, we tend to stay really like in what we know and what seems like directly related to the work that we're doing. And we
Mhm.
forget to like, expand our view, expand our experiences, because it can be incredible the things we can learn and the people we can meet outside of what we already know or outside of our industry even. I think that's really important.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that like to take all the classes and learn everything, and see
Yeah.
what that I can do to always grow and better myself and help others because no matter where we are in our life, there's always learning to do, you
Yeah.
know. So I always take those opportunities full on and just take it in and learn. So
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us a little bit, and everyone who's in the room and who just came in, welcome. If you have any questions, we're going to be actually just opening up the stage after, so you guys can ask questions, and you can also pop some in the chat in the meantime if you have any for Ariella. Um, but I would love to know, like, what do you feel was like your biggest challenge along your entrepreneurial journey,
Mhm.
and how did you kind of move beyond that challenge, or yeah, how did you work through that?
So I would have to say within the fashion industry, one of there I have to say there's two, but the biggest I would have to say is financial
Yeah.
stability and being
Mm,
able to afford my dream, afford the lifestyle, So that brings me back to, you know, what I was saying to really be creative within your means
yeah.
and finding different ways and outlets to grow yourself within your business, So and that's what I really had to do. I just had to be very creative with my means. And that also brought me to where I struggled with my self-worth. And, the story of when I went to New York Fashion Week and was in this room full of, celebrities, and I felt like I was not good enough, but then I received the same invite as them. So I'm like, you know what, I am good enough, now that I look back. But that also, that feeling of not being financial stable or not having enough really took a toll on me within this industry. Because especially now, I feel like with social media, everything has a certain view of things, but you really don't know what's behind the smile or what that person's really going through, because you have to live up to a certain persona. But really, we don't. We can find other ways to really be true to ourselves, but also live within our means and have creativity within those means to get to the next step or get to the next level. And things that I have to really continuously remind myself, because even though I've had all these great opportunities and accomplishments, I forget a lot all of the time that I've been there. And then wanting to take those next steps, it's like, how am I going to do this? And you still gotta become creative within your means and figuring out how you're going to do that. So
Yeah.
that's been and still my biggest struggle. So, and challenge. So
Yeah, but it's interesting because I feel like you've also really done well with that challenge, because from the start you were really creative about how you could, make connections and get in the industry and get in experience. And I think it's something really important for everybody to remember, because we always have this idea of like, oh, when I have more money, when I'm more successful, it'll be easier. I'll be able to do X, Y, Z. And if I think about like the stories of successful entrepreneurs, all of them learned how to be super resourceful with what they had. And I think it's a skill that we need to learn from the beginning, because even when we have more money, and our business is more successful, we have more expenses. So we still need to learn that resourcefulness and that creative way to find and create opportunities for ourselves. So I'm so happy you brought that up. That's such a good point.
Yes. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid if never think anything is below you, or if that feel or the fear of others feeling, making that perception that it's below you, because, anything can make such a difference through anything you do if you feel like it's good for you, and your family and your purpose. And those are things I have to remind and tell myself too, because, this world is scary. Everybody wants you to be a certain way. And it's just like, no, this is me, this is where I am, and that's okay, and just look at all of the blessings and just continuously to faithfully and fearlessly put yourself out there, and it's so crazy of even where I am now. I feel like I want to go back to who I was at 19 years old, and going back to like the community closets to organize and style, the families in need, and where that can be, but also I'm also relearning who I am. I feel like it's a constant thing, of remembering who you are, what your purpose is, what you want to do. I'm honestly thinking about going back to school.
Wow.
So that's
Exciting.
where I am too. I'm looking into, I always had this dream of going to FITM here in Los Angeles and becoming a fashion designer. And now that my daughter and my son are going to middle school, I'm like, maybe it's that time. Maybe I'm back here because I can go back to what that first dream was and do it all now, So you just never know. It's an evolving experience throughout your life.
Yeah. And I think, I love what you said also about how important it is to pause, and think about, give yourself a bit of space and time to think about what your next step is going to be.
Mhm.
And simultaneously looking back, like we don't do that. You're right. We don't pause to look at, remember where we started and everything we've done all like as of today. And when we do take that time to pause, it gives us a moment to rest. And we don't do that very often as entrepreneurs. Like we're just always going, going, going.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, and remembering what we've created, what we've done, what we've accomplished will then give us more fuel to keep moving forward. And I think it really has an impact on like our level of confidence. And like you said, being like, you know what? Yes, I did deserve that invitation. I am good enough to go to this event.
Mhm.
So I love what you said about that. And I love that you're taking a pause right now and thinking about going back to school. You clearly love learning. That's what I can feel from you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love learning and I love teaching and
Yeah.
inspiring and helping the next. So,
Yeah.
but also, uh, I don't know. I feel like that's it because I've always honestly wanted to be a fashion designer and styling was always supposed to be my first step. And it
Mm,
became bigger than me and really provided me so much opportunity and helped me to get where I am today. But now in making this move and really, seeing my kids grow and where they're at
yeah.
now, to, they're so independent and so good that I'm like, okay, well, now I can really, maybe I can go back to school too. And like,
Right.
instead of just going out there and making my own collection, I was just like, maybe I'd go back to school and make my collection that way through school, learning those skills and also, you know, checking off that dream off my list. I'm just not doing it then, I'm doing it now, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I started all the financial aid applications and I saw there's grants
Nice.
for parents and I'm like, honey, maybe this is it. There's like grants for parents. I'm a parent. So,
Yeah. That's incredible.
but we'll see. But I'm looking into that right now because
Okay.
it's been scary whenever you put your art out there, you don't know who's
Mm,
gonna love it. So,
yeah.
but that's really going to be my next step, I feel, is finally producing my first collection. And
Yeah.
it might be through school. So, or not.
Wow. Again, what a resourceful way. What a creative and resourceful way to create your fashion collection. I would have never thought about, most people just go out and create the collection, but like doing it through school.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody who's done that before. So that's so resourceful.
Well, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm scared and I'm doubtful, but you have that when you have those feelings that it just feels right. As
Yeah.
no matter how scared you are, that's what it feels
Mhm.
like. And honestly, in thinking about creating my first collection, I have all the ideas, I have all the passion and love for it, but then when you think down to like the cost,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So I was just like, when you go to fashion design school, you have to make a collection to
Yeah.
graduate. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why don't I just make it that way? So, but also learn
Amazing.
properly as well,
Yeah.
because I want to, do it the right way. And honestly, I want my kids to be able to look at me and be like, wow, my mom did that. You know,
Mm,
she went to school, she finished it. Cause I'm over here pushing them to go to college when I didn't go myself. So
right.
maybe it's that time. So
Yeah.
and again, being creative within your means,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get this financial aid and I can go, but
Nice. Very
see.
nice. Well, we are rooting for you for sure.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
I'd love to open up the room to any questions or just comments or like insights, inspiration that you might have had in the session. So if you want to share something or ask a question, you can actually just raise your hand with the little reactions guy at the bottom so that I can see if you have something to share. And in the meantime, I'm just going to read a few comments that came through in the chat and make sure we didn't miss anything here. So, we still have people coming in. Yes, Tofara, social media is covering a lot. Absolutely. Tofara and Loveness, I think we lost Loveness, but they are digital marketing strategist and super connectors in our ecomConnect program. Wendy says, thank you for your story. Wendy Hills. And Debia Agricultural Helpline says, Ariella, keep it up. You have overcome a big challenge in order to reach this point. So
Thank you so much. Your comments mean everything to me. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And I see we have Emery. Yes, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm sorry I have missed the story, but I will like to maybe to seek for advice. So I had never done anything on social media, maybe making money. So I would like maybe to seek for advice. So what can I do basically maybe to make money, because I'm also on all the platforms, but I don't know how you guys you do what
Mm.
does, but I had some stories that say we are making money online, but me it doesn't work. So what can I do? What's the best maybe? How can I start? What can I do? Yeah, that's
Yes.
okay.
So
Thank you.
honestly, oh, absolutely. You're welcome. So honestly, I have made the switch from social media to newsletters. So it's been great because I feel like more of your, loyal customers, people that support you are always going to be through your newsletters more than social media for me.
Right.
A lot of people do great things on social media and are amazing content creators and are consistent. But I'll be honest, social media gives me anxiety. So I'm there. I'm there, but I don't want to go through the anxiety anymore, the fear of posting. So I found newsletters have worked best for me and my business because I can open up more. I don't have the fear, the stress, and anxiety of posting anything or what the world may think. It's really just my one-on-one connections with my subscribers and community to be able to be vulnerable with if I want to share things, promote things. And the people that are in your newsletter, I find are those people that even want to buy your services because they've taken that extra step to subscribe for your business and your story and your products or services to be the first ones to know everything. So I've really more so been using that as my journal, my advertisement, my promotion, my marketing, everything has been through my newsletters, and there's such great things as, adding buttons, showing your products, to have that that direct link to book that consultation or that service or buy that product from your newsletters. So that's where I found most success from. And so maybe that will also work for you.
Yeah, I think, you're so right. It starts by really building a connection and a relationship with people. And when you bring people into a more intimate space and you can have a conversation with them, it becomes easier to sell, because what happens on social media is it's very noisy. It's like there's so much going on. We see so much go through our feeds, and it's hard to filter out what is important and not important. So yeah, and I think Emery also is like getting really clear on, what you do want to sell and why you want to sell it, coming back to that driving force. Because I think it's important to be selling something that we feel really good about and really excited about. Yeah, and then telling a story around, this thing that you're selling, whether it's a service or a product.
Yes. And
Mm.
now everybody, they first fall in love with you before
Mhm.
they want to even trust to buy your service or your product.
Right. Right.
They with who you are as an individual, but also your brand,
Yeah.
and that's what really sells and drives attention to you to
Yeah.
grow. So newsletters have been it for me as of lately.
Yeah.
It removes all the stress and, like you said, the outside world to just focus on my community and my clients and just share those things.
Yeah. I totally agree. Is there anyone else that has a question or that wants to share anything before? Actually, while we're just kind of just doing this fluid Q&A time, because I always forget. I'm like Dory and Nemo, the 3-second memory.
Okay, that's me.
I'm just going to launch a quick poll, like while we're chatting, if you guys don't mind just answering a couple of questions. It's like 5 questions. It's really quick. It just allows us to kind of understand like how you like the session, what you would like more of, how we can support you better in the community. And I'm also just going to put in the chat, if you are not already in ecomConnect with us, which is essentially a community platform where we network, connect, learn about e-commerce together. We have these events, Get Inspired, where we're always interviewing an inspiring, successful entrepreneur. We also have some soft skill events, webinars, workshops, all kinds of great stuff. So you can sign up for free in ecomConnect, and the recording of this session will also be in the community after as well for you to rewatch if you came in late. Yeah, so is there anyone else that wants to share something before we let Ariella go back to her day? Maureen
No, this
says,
has been beautiful. So thank you so much for this, Jen. I always love to speak with you and having everybody here. It's amazing. It makes my day. It's like the perfect way to start the
yeah.
day. It's only 9:50 a.m. here, so
Oh, right. You're so much earlier than us. That's true.
yes,
That's true.
so it was a
Yeah.
beautiful start to my day. So thank you so much, everyone. This
Yeah.
was amazing, and I love to connect further. So please don't hesitate to find me on social media or visit my website. I would love to stay in touch.
Yeah, actually, let's, do you mind just popping your website in the chat before we go? Ariella, in case people want to go off right away and take a look at the work that you're doing. That would be really great.
Yes,
Really nice event. You're welcome. We're happy you liked it. Thanks, John.
No,
It
thank you
was,
so much.
yeah, it was really nice to have you, Ariella. You have such a beautiful story and so many great lessons that I think all of us could take with us and run with. Simple things that we forget to do that can really make a huge impact on our journey. So I hope that everyone is leaving really inspired, and we will let you go back into your day, and we look forward to seeing you in the community and in the next events. Oh, Tawanda, yes, the recording is going to be in the community. So if you go to ecomconnect.org and either log in if you're already a member or sign up for free, we will post on the live feed the recording in a couple of days. And then it also goes into the description of the event as well after. You're welcome.
Yay, yeah.
Well, everyone, have a wonderful end of your day and happy weekend. We're almost there, and we will see you guys in the community. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Ariella.
thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.